When you think of Naruto's strongest jutsu, what do you think of? Do you think of multi-shadow clone jutsu? Do you think of Kurama chakra mode? Do you think of the 6-pass ultra big ball Rasen shuriken? Or even take it one step further and think about Boruto and Baryon mode? Well, if you think about any of those jutsus when considering Naruto's strongest jutsu, you're not necessarily wrong. See, I can't sit here and tell you that Baryon mode isn't Naruto's strongest form. I can't sit here and tell you that 6-pass ultra big ball Rasen shuriken isn't his strongest offensive move. And I definitely can't tell you that without the usage of multi-shadow clone jutsu, Naruto wouldn't have made it nearly as far as he did in his anime. But even with all of that said, I will sit here and tell you that none of the abilities I just listed are Naruto's strongest techniques. There's absolutely no doubting that Naruto, for the majority of Naruto and Boruto, was the strongest person in the universe. Both offensively and defensively, Naruto was a powerhouse. And when it came down to a 1v1, there was very few people in his universe that would give him a good run for his money. But Naruto's strongest technique has never even been a technique. See, while Naruto was capable of hundreds of jutsus that are able to wipe entire cities off of the map, his strongest technique has always been his words. Whether it be in the Land of Waves arc or the end of the 4th Great Shinobi World War, Naruto's strongest jutsu has always been Talk no Jutsu. But Talk no Jutsu's not an actual jutsu, it's a meme drummed up by the Naruto community. Because it appears as though every single time that Naruto has 5 interrupted minutes to talk to a villain, all he has to do is tell them about a swing and then they either kill themselves or join his side. And with the power of the jutsu, Naruto has been able to defeat the likes of Zabuza, Nagato, Obito, some of the strongest people in the universe, either turning them from enemies into allies or simply convincing them to give their lives to bring back everybody they had killed. And while Talk no Jutsu is absolutely a meme drummed up by the community that loves the show so much, what if the name that we gave Naruto's speaking ability was actually more accurate than we ever knew? See, for the longest time, a lot of Naruto's Talk no Jutsu moments have seemed slightly suspect. Naruto, with little to no effort, has been able to reach out to people who have dealt with decades of hatred, and yet after having a 5-minute conversation with this boy they just now met through the medium of combat, they've decided to give up their entire worldview. Now, while some will call that the power of anime or the power of friendship or simply needing to move the plot along, I would rally against it and say maybe it's an ability. But calling Talk no Jutsu actually might be slightly inaccurate, because today we're not going to be talking about how Talk no Jutsu is a jutsu. Today we're going to be talking about how Talk no Jutsu is actually supposed to be the death of jutsu, and truly dive into the meat of why Talk no Jutsu is Naruto's strongest ability and how it might tie into the power system of Naruto. To not only better understand the motivations of the main character of Naruto, but also to make sense of some of the sillier Talk no Jutsu moments we've gotten in Naruto. Because today we're talking, is Talk no Jutsu actually ninjutsu? But before we get to talking about Talk no Jutsu, ninjutsu, Hagoromo Shinjutsu, and everything else under the sun, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit that noti bell. I'm actually gonna be switching up my plugs today, guys, because a lot of you are always asking about this necklace. It's Hot Boy Summer and pearls are absolutely it. For the past couple of weeks, if not the past couple of months, I've been wearing this necklace, and I've gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of comments asking where this necklace is from. However, I didn't want to tell you guys where the necklace was from because this necklace was unreleased. But for those of you who have been following me for a while, you'll know that I have an incredible girlfriend by the name of Dorothy. And Dorothy runs a jewelry business by the name of Flair & Co. And Flair & Co. just released their summer collection. And this is one of the necklaces released in said summer collection. So if you guys are looking to rock some pearls this summer by the pool, please go check out my girlfriend's jewelry shop, Flair & Co. Dorothy started this business to make jewelry affordable and high quality. All of the jewelry on her website is under $30. And the majority of the jewelry she sells is water resistant, meaning you can wear it all summer wherever you go and it won't tarnish. Those of you who have been following for the past couple of months know I don't take this off and it looks as good as the day I put it on. So if you want affordable, fashionable, tarnish-free jewelry that doesn't turn your skin green, Flair & Co. is where you go. Oh yeah, and follow my other channel and my anime podcast. So, Talk no Jutsu, one of the most memed things in anime culture. If Naruto realizes he can't kill something with a Rasengan or a bunch of versions of himself all attacking simultaneously, he switches to his words. And this is the most consistent theme throughout Naruto. Naruto was enacting talk no jutsu in the first 20 episodes of Naruto in the Land of Waves arc, when Naruto connected to Zabuza on a personal level to make him understand why Haku would give his life for him, which inevitably caused Zabuza to rally against the people who hired him to destroy the bridge in the first place. And over and over and over, we see these themes throughout Naruto. Naruto reaches out to Neji during the Chunin exams while they're battling to make him realize that a person can overcome the circumstances of their birth. He makes Neji realize that the way he's been treating Hinata is cruel, and because of this, he fosters a relationship between the two cousins. He brings Tsunade in from out in the cold to make her feel again, to make her love Konoha the way she did when she was younger. He makes Sai realize that he can't live his life as an emotionless tool to be used by Konoha to assassinate anybody they don't like, and so on and so forth. It feels as though anytime Naruto gets the chance, he's bringing people into his inner circle. And obviously you could chalk that up to being charismatic and having the will to not give up on anybody ever. But there are some moments throughout Naruto and Boruto where Naruto's talk no jutsu works arguably too well, to the point where you can't help but wonder, why are they giving up so easily? Examples like Nagato and Obito, people who have lived decades of their lives mired in hatred, who have taken thousands of lives for their cause. One conversation with a 16-year-old boy and they decide, well, you know what? He's probably right. And while once again, you could chalk that up to charisma and will, what if there was a canonically accurate way in the power system that this phenomena could be explained? And in the case of Naruto's talk no jutsu, there is. See, before we talk about all of the situations where Naruto's talk no jutsu probably shouldn't have worked but did anyways, we need to talk about the early days of ninja dumb. And I'm not talking the first 5 Kage Summit, I'm talking 2,000 years before that. See, today we're gonna start this video off in the way that we tend to start these videos off. At the beginning. But the beginning that we're talking about is a little after the beginning of the Naruto universe. See, we all know that Kaguya descended down to Earth, found a Boo, had some kids, decided she hated the Boo, killed everybody, put them all in infant Tsukiyomi, made an army of white Zetsus, merged with the God Tree, became the Ten Tails, then locked into combat with her 2 sons for 3 months. And then at the end of that battle, they were able to seal Kaguya away in the moon and seal the Ten Tails inside of Hagoromo. What I'm interested in and where we're going to be starting is after Kaguya had been defeated. See, after Kaguya had been defeated, Hamura decided to go to the moon that Hagoromo and Hamura had created by using 6-Pass Chibaku Tensei and keep an eye over Mom and the husk of the Ten Tails. Well, Hagoromo, as the first sage of 6-Pass, decided to use all this chakra and power and life force that he had to better the Earth that he was living on. And thus Hagoromo started a lifetime journey across the globe, spreading with the people of Earth an ability known as Ninshu. See, Ninshu is kind of a metaphysical power. It's more of an ideology than a physical thing, because Ninshu is taught and learned through the medium of spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is just what it sounds like. Things that enrich your spirit are things that boost your spiritual energy. And thus things like studying, meditation, and practicing boost your spiritual energy. In a sense, Hagoromo became a messiah of sorts, with Ninshu being his religion that he was spreading across the globe. And unlike every other messiah in all of fiction, Hagoromo was actually able to spread Ninshu to every single person on the globe. And thus he was able to technically unify the entire globe in a singular ideology. However, the ideology of Ninshu wasn't that there's some big cool place filled with everything you've ever loved as long as you act good on Earth. The ideology of Ninshu is actually way more humanistic. See, Hagoromo believed, and I guess kind of knew, that those who were practicing Ninshu and therefore tapped into spiritual energy would be able to feel the spiritual energy of the people around them and of the globe. And thus, by being in contact with the spiritual energies of everybody on Earth, everybody would find peace with each other, as everybody would be tapped into a greater unconscious. And if everybody is tapped into not only just the feelings of everybody around them, but everybody on Earth and the Earth itself, then no war would ever be started again. However, there was a problem with this. See, while Hagoromo was teaching all of these people to tap into their spiritual energies, a couple people figured out how to mix their spiritual energy with physical energy, which is also just what it sounds like: your ability to lift things, your ability to run, to work out. By combining these physical and spiritual energies, chakra was created, and then chakra was able to be molded into things like ninjutsu and genjutsu and taijutsu. Thus, out of a project to bring the entire world together through the power of spiritual energy, Hagoromo gave the entire world chakra and therefore ninjutsu. And therefore, ironically, while trying to blaze a path towards peace, accidentally made some of the deadliest weapons in human history. Just because what Hagoromo tried to accomplish didn't happen doesn't nullify what Ninshu is. Hagoromo can be blamed for the creation of ninjutsu about as much as Tobirama can be blamed for other people using Edo Tensei after he died. Neither of their intentions were to make weapons of mass destruction, and yet here we are. But because the entire world over the course of the last 2,000 years began to learn to mix their spiritual energy with their physical energy and create chakra pathways in their body, does not mean that ninju is gone. See, yes, well, obviously chakra in the Naruto universe is as important to a human body as blood is, because the second you run out of chakra, you die, does not mean that the bare components of chakra cannot be used separately. In fact, one of the biggest ways to increase your chakra pool is to train in these two very different distinctions separately, with it being stated that the ways you can increase your spiritual energy being meditation, studying, and practice. Other ways you can increase your physical energy is fighting, working out, and eating. But if you can increase both your spiritual energy and your physical energy separately of each other, shouldn't this hypothetically mean that people can have more spiritual energy or physical energy than they do the other? That is to say that people like Naruto could have way more spiritual energy than they do physical energy, while people like Choji could have way more physical energy than they do spiritual energy. And if you can use your physical energy without using your spiritual energy in things like working out, why shouldn't you be able to do the opposite? Just because chakra has become the lifeblood of the ninja community, why shouldn't somebody be able to simply just tap in to the spiritual energy side of chakra? What I'm driving at here is, why shouldn't Naruto still be able to access ninju? And what if every time we've ever memed Naruto for using Talk no Jutsu, we were just severely underestimating his hidden ability? See, Naruto wasn't actually just telling every bad guy he'd ever met about a swing and immediately convincing them that his way was the right way. Naruto was using the immense amount of spiritual energy he had to connect spiritually to the person he was trying to reach. And the wildest thing is, I have evidence to support this claim. We all know Naruto's backstory. On the night of his birth, both of his parents were killed, orphaning him immediately. However, Naruto was also born in an incredibly prestigious position, the son of Minato and Kushina, the fourth Hokage and a woman from the Uzumaki clan who was said to have chakra reserves high even for her clan. Probably the person with the most chakra on Earth. On top of having that absolutely insane parent luck, Naruto also had half of Kurama sealed in him on the first day of his life, meaning Naruto from the second he was born was pretty much blessed to have the most chakra out of anybody in the universe, on top of probably having the most promise out of anybody in the universe. But while Naruto had potential and promise in spades, he didn't have human connection at all. See, for every ounce of power Naruto was born in, an ounce of human connection was taken. As a young kid, he wasn't raised in the Konoha orphanage. He was cast away into an apartment building to live by himself. Danzo, the Shadow Hokage of the Leaf, leaked the fact that Naruto had Kurama sealed inside of him so the entire village could come together in their hatred for a child. And thus, from the day Naruto was born, he was shunned by the village he was born into. Parents held their kids away so Naruto wouldn't play with them, afraid that if they ever came near their kids, the demon fox would rage out once again and snatch that very child from them. And thus Naruto spent the majority of his childhood years without anyone. But all Naruto wanted was somebody to have a connection to anybody, be they a child, an adult, a peer, a student, a parent. And as Naruto longed to find a way to connect to those around him, he realized he would have to overcome incredible circumstances just to make friends. As every potential friend that Naruto would ever meet had the stigma that he was the demon fox, that he was dangerous, that he shouldn't be around them. And thus Naruto needed to find a way to overcome this barrier. Now, we understand that a lot of things as they pertain to chakra are genetic. You're born with a particular chakra pool, a chakra affinity. Certain people from certain clans awaken Kekkei Genkai or Dojutsu. But on top of this, we also understand that there's jutsu out there that are a reflection of the person using them. And Uchiha Susanoo's weapons and color are reflective of the person who awoke said Susanoo. With lighter colored Susanos like light blue and green and orange Susanos being used by people with good in their hearts, and darker colored Susanos like purple and dark blue being used by people with hatred in their hearts. We also know that Susanoo weapons like the Totsuka blade and the Yada mirror were manifested by Itachi because of who he was as a person. So if the Uchiha, descendants of Hagoromo, are able to manifest abilities based on who they are as people, why shouldn't Naruto, the reincarnation of Ashura, also be able to manifest an ability based off of his upbringing? I mean, we know that he chose multi-shadow clone jutsu because of the loneliness in his heart, right? But what if that wasn't the only jutsu he manifested to avoid loneliness? What if Naruto, with his absolutely massive chakra pool as a child and desire to seek connection with those around him, accidentally tipped the scales towards spiritual energy in the chakra equation, making Naruto a master of ninju, possibly without even knowing it. Because as Naruto was given the opportunity and the chance to connect to people almost every single time, he accomplished it. See, when Naruto entered the Shinobi Academy, while a lot of his fellow classmates did look at him like an idiot, he did make friends with almost all of them, becoming a reliable resource for any of them to lean on should they ever need it. And this applied in much more circumstances than just the Shinobi Academy. Like I've already stated, in the Land of Waves arc, Naruto was able to reach out to Zabuza, a man hailed as the Demon of the Mist, a child who murdered 100 other of his classmates in order to graduate from the Shinobi Academy in the Hidden Mist. A man who had launched a coup against the Hidden Mist and didn't shed a tear for the death of Haku, the closest person in his life. But that wasn't until, of course, Naruto talked to him, and Naruto made him realize that the two of them had been brought together to save each other. Two lost souls finding a place with each other. But Naruto doesn't stop there. He brings Gaara into the light, a child who was put in an incredibly similar circumstance to Naruto, but didn't have the ability to reach out and ask for friendship from others, possibly because he's not as well versed in ninju as Naruto. But Naruto continues down this path, and I wrote down the name of everybody he ever taught no jutsu, with the likes of Tsunade, Nagato, Zabuza, Obito, Sai, Hinata, Neji, Kurama, the Shinobi Alliance, the Shinobi Union, and most importantly, Sasuke. And every single one of these people that Naruto connects to becomes kinder, empathetic souls that look out for the good of others. Gaara goes from a psychotic 12-year-old bent on revenge on the entire world to the Kazekage, a man willing to give his life in a battle against Deidara in order to save the village that despised him for the majority of his life. And I believe that Gaara is an incredible example of the empathy and kindness that those who find a connection to Naruto learn. And I believe that the fact that these people talk to Naruto and then begin pretty much extolling his virtues to anybody else they meet speaks to the point that there's a possibility he might be using ninja. Because Naruto, in a very similar capacity to Hagoromo, is touching the lives of everybody he meets. But Naruto is dealing with a world post-Hagoromo. Naruto is dealing with a world that's been scarred with 2,000 years of conflict that Hagoromo technically started. While Hagoromo was simply teaching ninju and hoping everybody would take it for the best, Naruto's possible mastery in ninju is so influential that by teaching it to other people through the medium of interacting with him, he also shows them the way to use ninju. The reason I say that Gaara is a good example of the ninju that Naruto uses to touch people's lives and how those people are then able to bring other people under their umbrella of ninju is because Gaara not only goes so far as to give his life for the Hidden Sand Village, but also after that to lead the Shinobi Alliance, giving one of the most electrifying yet touching speeches we've ever seen in anime history. And through the collective power of Naruto and Gaara, who have found their way into the ways of ninju, bring together the entire Shinobi continent to battle against the likes of Madara, even going so far in their ability to sway the opinions of those who have been locked in combat against each other for decades, that the Hidden Stone Village, who are hoping to capitalize on how weak the Shinobi continent would be after this war in order to launch a fifth Great Shinobi World War and take over the entire continent, decided not to. They instead decided to buy into the ideologies of people like Gaara and Naruto, joining the Shinobi Alliance and being some of the most important fighters in it. But to take that even one step further, after the Shinobi Alliance was victorious in their battle against Madara and Obito, the Shinobi Union was created, which is like the Shinobi Alliance, except significantly more diplomatic and bureaucratic, and essentially keeps a power balance between all 5 hidden villages. Now, Shikamaru is in charge of this committee. However, in Shikamaru's second light novel, the Stone Daimyo decides that this era of peace isn't befitting of ninjas and decides to initiate a war so ninjas won't get rusty. And the entire plot of this light novel is Shikamaru trying to get the entire continent together in what is essentially a 5 Kage summit, but for every single village on Earth, and then to take Naruto and put him in front of all of these people. And Naruto then gives a speech about how ninjas should adapt to the new times and how peace should be found. And once again, through the medium of speech, not through fists, Naruto has avoided conflict, defeating a continental enemy with the simple use of his words. But the beauty of this is that Korotsuchi, the 4th Tsuchikage, didn't want war. It was her daimyo who was trying to push for war. The daimyo who Naruto had never met. And that's the truly insane thing about all of this, is that as the Naruto universe blazes into Boruto, nobody that Naruto has ever met is trying to actively start war. As everybody that Naruto has ever met now exists on his and Konoha's side, and it's now only outside threats that ever pose a true threat to the peace that Naruto has created. And this is further corroborated by the fact that Naruto as a child had next to no ninjutsu prowess whatsoever, less than the likes of even Sakura, Ino, or Kiba. And it's a possibility that the reason this happened in the first place is because Naruto's spiritual energy was way higher than his physical energy, making it difficult for him to mold chakra and therefore mold ninjutsu. And it wasn't until Naruto began seriously training as a ninja that he increased his physical energy to match his spiritual energy. To take my points back to OG Naruto once again, if you think about the three most important genin in OG Naruto, who do you think about? The people who had fantastic backstories, a couple of really cool fights, and we seem to focus on. Well, I wouldn't blame you if you said Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke. I would unfortunately replace Sakura here with Rock Lee. As in the early days of Naruto, Rock Lee was pretty much the pseudo second side character. But if you think about these three genin, think about what each single one of them represents, and how what they represent might correlate directly to what chakra is built at. See, Rock Lee obviously represents physical energy. He can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, and therefore has to rely entirely on his strength and taijutsu. Therefore, the connection between him and physical energy relatively obvious. Well, on the other side of the side character coin, we have Sasuke, whose prodigy level of mastery over ninjutsu shows us that he might be the representation of chakra, the combination of spiritual and physical energy to create chakra that's molded into ninjutsu. And that makes sense. Sasuke was a prodigy in all things ninjutsu from a very early age, being the top of his class in the Shinobi Academy, mastering the Uchiha's great fireball technique and the Chidori, while also simultaneously using his Sharingan, which is also a ninjutsu. Which leads us with Naruto, who in the early days of Naruto wasn't strong, wasn't great with ninjutsu, but was always good with his words, with the Land of Waves being the best example of this. See, while Naruto was able to step up and save Sasuke from Haku's Senbon, at least for a little bit, he was weak for a long time, pretty much until he made his Rasengan. But what he did have was the spiritual ability and connection to reach out to the likes of Zabuza. And there we have the three most important genin in all of Naruto, representing three instrumental parts of chakra. But if we extrapolate on this connection and think about how this pertains to Hagoromo, essentially Naruto is what Hagoromo wanted, a unifying force that brings people together through the power of spiritual energy. And Rock Lee is humans before Hagoromo, while Sasuke is the representation of everything that Hagoromo technically did wrong, which is why Naruto was a series about getting Sasuke back. Naruto as a story is a story about Naruto trying to bring Sasuke back into the fold, to make him one of his friends again, to add him into his Ninshu network. Sasuke is the physical representation of humanity's misinterpretation of Hagoromo's will. However, once Naruto is finally successful in getting Sasuke back, peace is achieved on Earth. Is it not? That's the ending of Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke come back together, and in that moment, things like the Shinobi Alliance and the Shinobi Union are formed. Peace is found on Earth. Hagoromo's will is finally imparted. Everybody on Earth is connected through the connection of Naruto, or those that Naruto has had a significant influence on. And while obviously the great unifying force in all of this was combat, what Hagoromo didn't realize is that humans are inherently violent. So the reason that Hagoromo's original will didn't work is because he didn't account for the true nature of humans, instead simply making them privy to the will of a higher consciousness that connects them all. However, because humans are humans, they misinterpreted this will and made it violent. And Naruto stepped up in this war-torn era and technically, through the medium of violence, unified all of humanity. So what is the real point I'm driving at here? Well, in short, Naruto's Talk no Jutsu isn't a jutsu. In fact, it's the opposite of a jutsu. In fact, Naruto's strongest power, not being a jutsu, is the point of Naruto. Naruto's character and his possible mastery over Ninshu is supposed to show us that regardless how powerful the world may seem to you, nothing will ever be more powerful than human connection. It doesn't matter if the world has gone crazy, if weapons have gotten more dangerous than they ever were, so long as you're able to still connect to humans and bring them together through the power of human connection and tapping into a higher unconsciousness, that power will never be defeated. Naruto is supposed to show that regardless of the misinterpretation of Hagoromo's will that led to the devastating series of events that created the Naruto universe, so long as there's somebody out there with the willingness to connect to those around them, that power will never ever be usurped. And therefore, regardless of how silly some of Naruto's talk no jutsu moments might seem, it's Naruto's ability to see his foe as a human and therefore connect to them as one human to another that makes him more powerful than anybody else in the universe. And it's a possibility he's able to accomplish this by tapping into the spiritual half of chakra that connects all of us to the collective unconscious. So, in summation, is Naruto's ability to use talk no jutsu ninju? It doesn't really matter. What matters isn't how he did it, it's why he did it. So the next time that somebody seems scary or out of touch or too different to ever relate to, remember, there's somebody in there. And the second you start seeing that person as a person, you're one step closer to accomplishing what Naruto was able to do. So be it ninju or not, you can accomplish it as well. And that's everything I got on the topic. Do you guys believe that Naruto's talk no jutsu was part of a greater power that he was able to tap into, or do you think it was just his personality? Tell me in the comments below. And while you guys are down there, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit that noti bell. The only people we don't connect to are people who say Boruto is mid, okay? They don't deserve to be tapped into the collective unconscious.